Good morning. I want to welcome everyone to the June 11th regular meeting, Mason County Fiscal Court. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I want to welcome everyone to Fiscal Court this morning. Without too much to do, I want to say it's obvious we're one commissioner short today. Let me say, along with Commissioner Frame, O'Hearn, and the staff in Mason County, that our best wishes go to Commissioner McKay and his wife Patsy, who's in the hospital over in Lexington for some testing. And so everyone here with Mason County will be thinking about them as they navigate along these health meetings. And so, Madam Clerk, can you start us off with a roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner O'Hearn?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, we're going to go a little bit outside. We have a guest coming today, Ben Ucelis with Charter and Spectrum. He got hung up coming through Lexington a little bit and is running 5 to 8 minutes late. I'd also like to pull forward Jailer Yeary. She has an appointment at 9:30 over the jail. And so if you would like to come up, Jailer Yeary, give your report, we'll jump around on the agenda today a little bit.
Thanks so much for letting me present early. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
For the month of May at the jail, the highest daily count, inmate count was 204, lowest is 278, with the monthly average of being 192. Of that, the males was 154 and females 38. Mason County had 114 inmates, Bratton County 11, Fleming County had a total of 50, and Lewis County 34. All other counties 17. The Class D inmates, we had a total of 91. Controlled intake was 41, the SAP program 22. The total admitted and released to the Mason County Detention Center was 282. Males was 202 of that, and females was 80. The inmates performed a total of 7,936 hours of community service, and if you multiply that by 10, you save the county, where we save the county $79,360. The jail reimbursements collected was $2,155.14. Bond fees was $95.66. Release fees was $217.46. Booking fees was $1,020.18. Pay my jailers, we collected $3,096.40. And we got $17,548 from the House Bill 556. And $3,000 was earned in SAP certificates through the House Bill 556. The Class D inmates continue to assist the county garbage pickup, the recycle center, and the Mason County Road Department on a regular basis. Other agencies that they helped with during the month of May was the Mason County Food Bank, the Licking Valley Commodities, and Mason County Roadside Litter Pickup, and the Germantown Ballpark, and the Lewisburg Lions Club. At the time I had no information. I had to prepare my report early because we had a jailers conference the first week in June, so I was out all last week. So there was nothing other than the fact that the state road crew did work in Lewis and Mason counties during the month of May. And due to the fact that the state was off on the 21st due to the May primary, the state road crew was able to pick up litter and weed eat on a couple of county roads, which was Pleasant Ridge and Old Sardis Pike. Training, there's no all hours logged due to the fact there are a lot of vacations in the month of May. Upcoming training, just wanted to put this out there again on the from June 17th to 28th, we will have at the jail the KCO VR training simulator. It'll be available for all law enforcement or jails in the area who would like to come up and participate and use the device. It's pretty realistic and has a lot of different scenarios for the different agencies.
Can the commissioners come up and try that?
You sure can.
Okay.
Yeah.
When they were rolling this training out, Joe, you and I were talking about how realistic it is. And literally, people are, you got to guard against somebody running into a wall or something. So.
Yeah. It is. It's pretty neat. Inmate, they had one inmate who tested for their GED. As far as the gardens in the high tunnel, both gardens inside and outside the high tunnel are doing really well. Tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers are in the high tunnel. Corn, green beans, zucchini, and watermelon are planted in the outside gardens. Our Master Gardener class has begun and is going smoothly. The only other thing I have to report is on May 30th, the Odell Equipment Incorporated, they delivered our new washer and dryer. That, as I mentioned before, it's valued at $25,000. And the only thing that the county will have to pay for is the installation. And we're already in the process of getting a couple of quotes for the installation cost. And that's all I have.
Joe, so we're not surplusing the old washing and dryer, just keeping in a rotation, making them last longer, correct?
Actually, those were, we had new ones put in during that energy upgrade,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
they're in good shape. These were just free, and now we can take a little bit of the load off of
Sure.
them and, and make the laundry quicker, get in it and get it done. I mean, right now, it runs around the clock, basically, trying to keep up with all the laundry, so this should help them with that a lot.
Make a motion to approve the report as presented.
Got a motion on the floor, and we have a second. Got any discussion, additions, or deletions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ahern,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame. Yes, ma'am. Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Appreciate you today.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. We do have some guests joining us today. We've got Miss Janice Barnett and Anthony Wins Jr. with the Conservation District. Pleased you guys are here to join us today. I want to recognize that. We will proceed to our minutes. Commissioners, in your packet, you will see the minutes from the May 14th regular meeting, Mason County Fiscal Court. Once you've had a chance to review said minutes, I would entertain a motion to move forward.
Make a motion to approve May 14th minutes.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any additional discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ahern,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame. Yes, ma'am. Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioners, also in your packet, you will see the minutes from the May 29th, 2024 special meeting. Upon your review, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
The Tourism Commission, didn't we just vote to do 1,000 instead of 1,500?
You know, ma'am, it's 1,500.
Sure about that?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. For the ad, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes, 1,500 bucks.
All right, I'll go back and look at the
Okay.
report, but I was thinking it was
Sure.
1,000.
Yep. The, the ad for the Kentucky
Magazine.
Monthly, and then what's it called?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll go back and look again, okay. I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay, we got a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any additional questions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ahern,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am. guys. So I want to switch gears, go back, and we have joining us today Mr. Ben Ucelis with Charter and Spectrum. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, how are you, sir?
Doing well. Apologies for your travels.
No, apologies
over
for
here.
being late. Yeah, thank you all so much for having me. Always good to be here and give you all an update on all the work we got going on in the county. So obviously, I'm here to talk about our big broadband project that's bringing broadband to well over 4,800 homes and businesses across the county. It's underway. Things are moving along very well, and I'm here to just kind of give you an update on where we stand on that. So, I think I've described this before, but anytime we do a big project like this, we divide it into smaller areas, right? We call them OLT boundaries. The OLT is the piece of equipment that fiber goes into that equipment and then goes from there out to all the houses. We have about 34 OLT areas across the county and the city that we have designed, that we are building. So far, I'm proud to say we've activated our first 2 of those. They're in kind of the farther western part of the county, but those folks have access to fiber service today. There's about 350, 375 homes in those 2 OLT areas. Now, some of those might actually cross into either Fleming or Lewis County, just the way those OLTs are built. Those are part of our RDOF project, which was the first portion of the project, which was through some federal funding we received. The rest of it is through the partnership with the county and the city that we'll be building as well. There are another 5 OLT areas where we are in construction right now. So we are making progress. We are moving along at a pretty good clip right now. The one thing, and I hammer on this every time, but it's always part of it, is the pole permitting. That's basically the big piece of the puzzle left for us to get through and get this thing built. If we had access to every utility pole today, we'd have the entire project complete in a matter of months. But there's a process by working with Fleming Mason, working with KU. There's a handful of Windstream poles as well that we're dealing with as well. But there's just a process we go through to get approval to be on those poles. We submitted all of our pole permit applications by last August or September. Okay, so we've started to get those back, but need them to pick up the pace a little bit. So there's some things we talked about. I know, Judge, we talked about having some calls and doing some things to spur that along. But the quicker we get those pole permits back, the quicker we can get to work and finish the rest of this bill. Our team tracks it every day, looks at what's coming through, makes sure that we're getting the payments out. All the work has to be done by them. We pay for it. So it's just a process of them sending invoices, us getting payments out, and then them going and doing the work. A lot of times stuff will get hung up if we might submit an application for 50 or 60 poles. One of them needs to be replaced, 2 of them need to be replaced. We can't work on any of those until those 2 are replaced and we have that permit approval. So all that is part of the process, but the faster we can spur that process along, the faster the rest of this is going to get built and we'll be in a really good spot. The other part of this as well is once we get into this downtown area, that provides its own complications, right? We don't want to be in here tearing up streets and doing anything more than we have to. I know, Judge, you sent me some contacts at the city that I
Yes,
think
sir.
will be helpful in terms of accessing conduit and making this as simple as possible. So when we get to that point, there will be more updates and more things we'll talk about at that point. This one's a little bit more unique because we're brand new to Mason County. We're kind of coming from the outside in. A lot of times other counties where we're doing similar projects, we already serve the city and we're just branching out. So this one's a little different in that sense, but we'll get to the city here hopefully not too long from now.
David Hoard,
Yes.
city engineer, has reported he's talked with your construction team, and the city of Maysville does have open conduit within the city that they'll be running their lines.
That'll be great. That'll be a big help, and that'll really help speed things along too
Yep.
as we get to this portion of it. that's kind of the high level 30,000 foot view of what's going on. You're gonna see our folks, if you haven't already, on the streets. You'll see KU and Fleming Mason. There's actually a group called the Bolin Group who is doing work for both us and Fleming Mason to help smooth that process out. So you'll see trucks out, you'll see our folks out. Don Garrison is our construction manager handling this project. Don's fantastic. And Tracy Gifford is his boss, our lead of construction across all of Kentucky. You all are very much on the front end of counties getting connected, right? There's one other county, maybe two, that are ahead of you, but really I think you all are probably going to be the second or third county that's fully connected for us in the state of Kentucky. So you are in a really good position. We're making progress. I'd like to see the pole permitting pick up a little bit so we can get even more work done. But things are progressing pretty well, and I appreciate your all's partnership. You're willing to work, obviously, to help push this along in any way. So I might stop there and open up for questions and see what other information I can provide about our project.
I understand it's a tedious process, it sounds like, for
Sure.
permitting, but if you had to guess, ballpark figure to complete the
To complete?
project.
Timeline, you mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Well, it's always a hard question to answer, and it's also especially a hard question to answer because I assume you're talking about 100% completion, right?
Yeah, just-
So let me give you an example. In Scott County, which is the only other county that I think is going to be done for sure before you all, 80% of that project was completed, and there's a little bit hanging over that's been sitting for a few months due to a railroad issue. So that project is probably technically delayed. However, of the 5,000 or so homes, 4,400 of them had service by a certain date. So by the end of this year, I would say easily 70-80% of this is going to be done, hopefully more. Definitely, I would say within a year from now, we should have this thing wrapped. Again, huge caveats for that, right? If a
Right.
pole issue
Right.
presents
Issues
itself,
with that,
anything like that, it's always dangerous, and my construction team probably would strangle me for even saying things like that. But based on the rate that we're seeing things come in now, we've got a good process with Fleming Mason. KU is working a lot better with us now. We've got a new agreement in place with them. They're just a big operator that has a lot for us across the state. We're trying to prioritize this project and make sure they get to work on it.
Yeah.
So if things continue along that path, definitely this time next year, hopefully a lot sooner than that.
Thank you.
Ben, you're recruiting the people to sign up for this? Are you going to their homes or sending them flyers, or how are you doing that?
There are flyers and mailers that they will receive. Originally, we were sending out door-to-door teams to go and tell
Yeah.
people. What we found was that, we're kind of keeping those teams back right now and just letting them have the mailers, have the flyers, and then if we're not getting a lot of responses, we'll go back out and let the folks know. I'm happy to share this information with you as well. I have a map here that I'll share with the judge, and he can share with all of you all, that shows. I can kind of show you all. But what I do is I take all the OLT boundaries, right? And so green ones, those are the areas we've activated. Yellow ones are where we're working now. Orange ones, we're still waiting on permits. I'll share this with you, Judge.
Sure, please.
And then
Great.
we'll continue to update that probably every month or so, so you can see the progress. But yeah, generally, we just provide flyers or mailers to those.
Well, the reason I'm asking is I have one of my good friends that lives next to me, not next to me, but a mile from me, and she said one of your representatives came to her door last week. And
Oh, okay.
that's why I'm asking. Is that how you do it?
I didn't think we were doing that anymore, but we do have direct sales teams that do that
Okay.
occasionally. I thought they had scaled some of that back and we're just relying more on mailers and other forms of outreach, but yeah, it's possible you could see that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, and I need to I need to own my part of this too. Ben, a month and a half ago, asked me to communicate out, and I have failed to do that. And so this week, I will reach out to the poll owners, your team, and commence with the monthly meetings, if you still think that would be helpful going forward.
Yeah, I think it would. I think
Okay.
that's, we've done this, we did it in Scott County, we're starting to do it in a couple other areas as well, where what it ends up being, what happens, the first call, the first meeting that we have with us and the poll owners is just kind of a large scope. They already know this information, but it's, here's everything we're building in the county, in case they were confused. Sometimes they just see the permits come in and they don't have an appreciation for the big picture of what we're doing. So it just kind of helps to level set and then prioritize for them where we're building. And then it just, if we do a monthly check-in or something, that way if they're seeing that a payment from us isn't coming through, or if one of our permits isn't looking right, or that they thought that they had approved something but it's not showing up on our end, little stuff like that,
Yep.
that rather than have it bog down the project for a month or two, it can get taken care of quickly.
Agreed.
It really helps smooth things out, and a month or two can seem like a lifetime if you don't have internet. So hopefully that'll help get the process moving. So I appreciate you willing to do that for us,
Yes, sir.
because I think it'll be really helpful.
Being any of those, or any of the areas more concerning than others, I guess? Or, I mean, it's pretty much just
At
as you
this
go.
point, yeah, I mean, at this point, the one thing I was checking for, because we just ran into this in another county, is that railroad issue.
Yes, sir.
Just so you know, there are railroad permits that we've been waiting on for close to a year now, and we can't get movement. And we've pulled every lever we can at every government level, and they're just kind of taking a long time. So I don't see a lot of that with you all. I had the team look at it. I didn't see any railroad permits they're going to need right now, but I want to make sure we're watching that, because I assume there's going to be some.
Yes, sir.
And so we're trying to flag that earlier on in the process. If you have contacts at any of the railroad companies, that's something I would at least keep. I don't think we need to raise it right now, but keep it in the back of your mind.
We've got great relationships with both CSX and their multi-state regional director, Jody Lassiter, but also our Class 3 rail, Midwest and Bluegrass Rail, which is our north-south, runs between Maysville and Paris. The ownership team with that. So
Good.
if you have an issue, I think we can attack it from multiple angles.
That's very good to know. And I will say, I think CSX we've had better luck with. The railroad we're dealing with is a different one that we're not having luck. So it doesn't seem like that one's going to bother you all as well. But no, I think other than that, I do think it'll be a new challenge for us. Not a new challenge, it's just a different kind of challenge once we get into the city limits. A denser urban area has different challenges than a widely rural area, but we've dealt in both. It's just figuring out how to attack it.
So are you gonna try to do the rural area first, or just incorporate all together?
That's where we're kind of coming from that direction right now. And we have, when we do this, and I don't have it in front of me, I have to get that from the team, we have a general build order in mind, right? So we say, we know there are going to be certain OLT boundaries that, like, we can't activate this one until we've activated these two or three before it. So there's going to be some directional routes like that. At the same time, though, if we get permits back, that prioritization, that build order that we put together, we send that to the poll owner so they know we need to build this one first, and then this one, and this one, and this one. That said, sometimes we'll get the second in the chain, we'll get all the permits back for that right away. We'll go ahead and go build that now. And so the build order is a plan, and that plan gets turned on its head, and we build where we can once we get into it. But for right now, yes, we're kind of coming from that southwestern portion and funneling up through there, but that could change moving forward.
And also, it's probably a good idea, the state currently has their federal BEAD monies. Collectively, we continue to target those. The state received $1.1 billion in BEAD monies. And so between the city, the county, and charter, we're still target those monies to alleviate what the public portion of this project is. But either way, we're moving forward. So.
Yeah, and like I said, your all's leadership on this at such an early stage has put y'all in a position where the other projects that are relying on those BEAD dollars right now, I think the BEAD timeline is, I think it's close to a decade in terms of how long they have to build out.
Yep.
Now, hopefully, a lot of those areas get built a lot faster than that, but my guess is you all are going to be completed before a lot of those other BEAD projects even get started. So that's, like I said, we're obviously going to continue to work with the judge, with the city to recover any of that money we can. But even if we're not able to, that is what the benefits you all are getting from that investment, that leadership early on, is you're going to be done so much sooner. But yes, that 1.1 billion is a lot of money, and even if they fund every household in the state, I think there's going to be something left over, and I'm hopeful that we can find a way to fund some of that back here.
Any additional questions, commissioners?
Appreciate the update.
Of course. Yeah.
We greatly appreciate you, my friend.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch. I'll send you this update, and
Yeah.
feel free to share it with.
Please.
I'll send it to Matt in the city as well.
Please, please.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you all so
Thank you,
much.
my friend.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So with our broadband update out of the way, guys, that brings up our road department report, and we've got road supervisor Joe Brown joining us today.
Hey,
Good morning.
Good morning.
hey, okay, for the May report, various pipes being cleaned out due to the recent storms. We hauled 20 tons of rock from animal shelters and inmates helped spread it out. First round of mowing is complete. Guardrails, welcome signs have been weeded throughout the county. And also the graveling and the cutting of the rock roads are all done. We had 2 days of the storm cleanup. Then we bush hogged Cummins Preserve and cut hangers around that area also. Then we put a culvert pipe in on Barrett Pipe. And then on our livestock, we had 9 customers on our livestock already.
Well, Joe, I want to highlight not only your team,
Excuse me.
but also Travis and the state guys have been very receptive. We have had probably 4 or 5 different spots called in for mowing or remowing, that's safety issues. And each one of them have been addressed either that day or by noon the following day. And so please convey to Travis, the state guys, how much we appreciate
sure will.
them, and as well as our team too.
I sure will. Thank you all.
Hard to keep it from growing sometimes.
It is. Sure is.
Make a motion to approve the road report as presented.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any additions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ahern,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame,
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioners, also in your packet, you will see, had Joe work up an overview of our assets outside of dump trucks up in the road department with an average mileage of probably 180,000 to 200,000 miles between all these trucks. Our current situation is Joe's truck is having a frame issue under the bed. Our 1,500, what they call half-ton truck, that is for roadside litter and property abatement, now is starting to develop this lift, they call it the lifter issue, that is synonymous with higher mileage trucks. And then we also have a third, regular side half-ton pickup truck that is having troubles in addition to this. And so, I've looked at a few quotes, but as we have talked about, I want to have a conversation today about, a direction to go in. One, we can scan the market for a used 22 full-ton truck, which is the 2500 version, and one or two 1500 half-ton trucks used. Mileage on those would be anywhere from probably 50 to 100,000 miles that we've seen. They'd be 5 to 7 years old, and be in the $39,000 to $44,000, or state contract, which would be a new truck, state spec, state contract, 5-year warranty. For the 2,500, I'm estimating it'd be $50,000 to $51,000. Now, Bachman Chevrolet has the state contract, and I talked to Judge Teagard in Bragg County. They did a 3,500, which I guess is a 2-ton. Okay. State contract. Crew cab, which is the 4-door, which I don't think we need all that. But
No, a double would be good. When we take, sometimes the guys go with us, we need the crew cab or at least a double cab. Well, sometimes we go on a storm, sometimes you'll haul 3 or 4 guys. We break up in groups when we have a storm. So it'd be real good to at least have a double cab where you can put at least 4 guys with you, But that's the difference. You can haul 6 or 4.
Well, but for comparison, their total was $54,000 and some change. And so I'd like to hear your all's thoughts on that before getting more firmer or firm.
I think the used truck market is absolutely insane, the amount of prices. It's like the numbers you just said. You're talking about a $10,000 difference, give or take a little bit, between having a pretty well used, 60 to 100,000 mile truck and a brand new truck. My opinion is, I think it's common sense to go ahead and get the state contract new truck. You look at our mileage on all these trucks. We got to start putting in a little bit of new to balance this out a little bit. And we're talking about a relatively low amount of difference as far as money. The money you're going to save in maintenance, the money you're going to save, you're going to get a lot more longer use out of it. The repairs that are going to be coming. I think it makes perfect sense to go in that direction.
I think you'll be money ahead if you go with some new ones.
I think so too.
Well, we have been incredibly, all in all, we've been incredibly lucky with the used trucks we have found.
I think 10 years ago it wouldn't have been like this, but the used truck market right now is, it's just crazy.
Okay. I will, Joe and I will get to work on putting together a package, and hopefully review it at Tuesday's budget meeting. And we'll go from there. One thing this Chuck Dills is the guy at Bachman. I remember meeting him at either CAECO conference or County Judge Executive Association. And, to do the state, to do the state contract, I guess he has it for Chevrolet, but we'll also, explore all the models.
I didn't ask him about availability, but I imagine that would be one thing he would bring up if it was a deal, well, hey, we can't get it for 8 months. But, okay, that gives me some direction. We'll have a little bit more firm game plan come Tuesday and proceed forward. In addition to that, whatever we get, we're proceeding along with getting established our summer surplus sale that is going to involve a lot of our older units that are up there. And we'll go from there.
We've got everything ready to sell, so. Then 2 of them trucks will be in the sale. You know, 2 will replace the 2 that's sold.
What about the tractors? Do you want to talk to the commissioners about your mowers?
Well, the mowers are going. We made our first round of mowing. If you're looking at a flail mower, I've been pricing some flail mowers because the tractor isn't the best. But I don't think it makes a lot of sense. If you got, if the flail mower's gonna cost, $25,000. But your tractor's worth 4 or 5. It don't, and I don't know how long the tractor's gonna last, but if you do flail mower, then in all honesty, it'd be better to try to find a good tractor and a flail mower already together, that's in good condition, than to spend money, then have to spend money again. You see what I mean? If you got a used tractor that's worth $3,000, you put a $25,000 flail mower on it. I don't know how long this tractor's gonna last, because it's got a lot of hours on it. So this tractor was bought used from the state. The tractors we had was bought from the state. The state's used them for years and years before that. So in my interest, I think it'd be in your best interest to look for a newer tractor when we get that route, and a flail mower already put together. Instead of, it makes more sense to me. As an example, I found a real nice used low-hour John Deere tractor that already had the mowers on it for, I think it's right at $55,000. And you're looking at 25 for a mower, and then another, by the time it's all said and done, you're just money ahead. Right now they're still going. I don't know for how long. We're going to try to get through this season, but the mower's in really bad shape. And I've been trying to find a used one, but the used ones I found are no better, And then I did find one used one I thought that might work, but it was just too much for our little tractor to handle. So that's where we're at tonight.
I think we keep our antenna and eyes peeled for opportunity, but my ambition would be to make it through this season and regroup.
And that's what I'm shooting
Yeah.
for. And I've talked to the state, the surplus John at the state has been real good about keeping up with me about stuff. I said, look, if you get something in, please let me know. He said, Joe, I will, but every other county is looking for the same thing you're looking for. He said, we just don't have it, But he said, I will keep you in mind if you get something,
Maybe 3 months from now, they will.
You never know. No, you
Get a
never
badge
know.
in.
Yeah, you never know, because they might turn something in, like,
Right.
the end of this
Busy
year,
season, yeah.
money might open up, they might turn something in, we'll get something. But I'll keep in contact with them.
Yeah.
May I say something really quickly before? I know we've talked about having a special meeting on the 18th.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
spoke to Roger at DLG this morning. They are swamped and said there's no way they'll have it finished in time for us to publicize and everything for the 18th.
So we will not.
So we will, not for the budget, if you have something else, but for the budget, we will not be ready, or they won't be ready, and we can't publish in time for the 18th. So we just need to look at maybe the next week after that, at least the 25th or something, but if you guys will, okay?
Commissioners, any additional questions for Director Brown?
Oh, sure.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you all, I appreciate
Thanks,
it very
Joe.
much.
Yes, sir.
Did you want to talk to them about the roads, or I need?
Oh, yeah, sure. So with the road aid, check my math on this. We're looking at Key Pike, Strodes Run, Cropper Lane, Emerson Drive, Jefferson Run Road, Clark's Run Road, Allen Lane, Dividing Ridge Road, Springdale Road, and then we're waiting on the quote on Cahill, correct?
Oh, yes, sir. I take the plastic off so I can see. Key Pike, Crow's Run, Proper Lane, Emerson Drive, Jefferson Run Road, a portion of Parks Run Road, Allen Lane, and Dividing Ridge, and Springdale Road, and then we talked about,
Cahill.
we will add Cahill in there, is that correct?
Yep.
Yep, you're right, Judge. I should already have that pulled up.
And I can send that out to an email to you too. That'd be great.
When we do Cahill, that connects, that makes that complete. When you come off Cahill, then we'll have all Key Pike done. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Just makes it complete. That's neat.
And we'll get these added. We're working with Kevin and Buffalo Trace Area Development District on our digital utilities map spanning all Mason County. Get these added, especially once they're complete. I envision, once these are added in, Juan can also go back to last year's roads, the year before, what have you. And once the data's in it, we'll be able to see, hey, when was the last time X road was paved? Or, be able to do presentations where in the last 5 years, Mason County has paved X percentage of roads across the county. And so that'll be one caveat to that system going forward too. Okay. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you all.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Commissioners, also in your packet, we've got the animal shelter report, and we've got Marilyn File joining us.
Morning, Marilyn.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
In the month of May, 20 dogs left the shelter, 8 adopted, 7 reclaimed, 5 sent to rescue, 21 entered the shelter, 16 as stray, 1 abandoned, 2 owner surrenders, 1 due to cruelty or neglect, and 1 in the other category. Animal control received 245 calls related to dogs, 7 regarding cats, made 38, sorry, I left that out on yours, 38 field responses, and 7 dogs were brought into the shelter. As of May 31st, we had a total of 31 dogs in our care, 26 on-site and 5 in foster homes. We received a total of $1,518.31 in donations, 32.65 volunteer hours worked, and 12 spay-neuter surgeries completed.
It looked to me like you had an outstanding turnout at the YMCA adoption event
Yes?
last weekend.
And I'm
Then also, Treasurer Muse and I were talking about our team member, Jen Seti-Botkin, and her contributions. She is exploring grants, writing said grants. The data we've retained for this 2 mods grant is very, very impressive. And within there is about a 30-page report.
You have, I gave a copy,
Yeah,
everyone's got one.
donations from Walmart, look like,
all
so,
donations.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's doing a great job. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And we are definitely supposedly getting another mods grant for this year, but it'll be more based on the work they did with it so that's the final report I'm sending in this week to close it out.
Good job.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Any additional questions for Maryland Commissioners? I'll take a motion to approve the animal.
Second.
Got a motion to second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner O'Hearn?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Commissioners, also in your packet, you'll see the sheriff's office report. We got Sheriff Ryan Swolke joining us today. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning, Court. Morning, Judge.
Morning, Sheriff.
Morning.
First up, I have the May 2024 tax disbursements to Mason County, $31,759.18. Mason County School District, $80,479.47. To the Mason County Library, $9,377.09. To the Mason County Health Department, $10,558.07. The Mason County Extension Office, $5,626.69. Sheriff's Commission was $2,544.31. And that brings the total disbursement for May of 2024 to $140,344.81.
Need a motion for that?
Motion to approve as presented.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner O'Hearn?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am.
Next up, we'll look at our vehicle report, which looks good. Fleet number 1, it's showing red, but I believe that work is complete. So we look pretty much like we're all in the green there. So yeah, we're in good shape with that. And finally, I've attached our activity report for May. It's been a busy month. We had 515 calls for service, 18 collisions, and the other stats are there. We've also made this public, and I thank Judge McNeil for helping provide copies of this report to the public. Opened 14 criminal investigations in May, along with some other things. So that is all I have.
Sheriff, the missing juvenile, was that the one in Lewis County, or was this one? That was the one here. Well,
That was the one here.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes.
Well done. I like this a lot. Sheriff Swolke
Yeah, great information.
presented this the other day. We keep a number of copies here in the office, and then he's got a number of copies down at the sheriff's department. You know, if it's a hot newsletter, we'll print more. Sure, it's readily available. So, well done.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Commissioners, next up in your packet, you will see for the May Emergency Management Report, Tony is out today with the, I believe, the FEMA group that is in town, can't make the meeting. You'll see his report of from the floodplain training to search and rescue training. It's been several exercises, now incidents between wrecks and small grass fire. It was a busy, busy month for Tony and all of our emergency management folks. I'll highlight, I think Sheriff, Tony, and other Mason County assets went over Lewis County Saturday evening, Sunday morning to help with a 5-year-old young person that had wandered off, and luckily about 3:30 they had tracked him down. So well done, guys. And also the FEMA guys, the FEMA team is still in Mason County from the early April tornado storms. And so we want to make sure the public is aware of that as well. I will entertain a motion to approve emergency management report for May, guys.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ahern?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am. Commissioners, also in your packet, you will see the registration for a 1995 boat that under Buffalo Trace Search and Rescue, we got this boat vis-a-vis a grant through the county, but now it's in, especially with the new boat coming, looking to surplus this boat. And so I need a motion to surplus the Henry O 170cc 1995 gas outboard boat.
And Judge, before you get that motion, before somebody makes it, it's not titled in fiscal court name, so I don't know that we,
Well,
I don't really think we're in it.
huh,
I'm not smart enough to read a title, and I'm not gonna mention the treasurer, but the county
No.
clerk is. And she points out that it's titled in the Buffalo Trace Search and Rescue.
okay.
I mean, to the extent the county has the interest in it, I guess you can make the motion, but it has to come from Search and Rescue, not us. The title would.
Let's make the motion,
Okay.
just in case. But I will report back to Search and Rescue that, not our boat, but let's make a motion if we have said ownership in the boat.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second to surplus the Buffalo Trace Search and Rescue owned Henry O. boat. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ahern?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, guys. That brings us up. In your packet, you will see landfill report. Director Cooley is at a Phase 6 meeting this morning with Ampico. And so we received in 8,069 tons of waste valued at $185,049. The curb fee, the Kentucky Environmental Remediation fees totaled $11,192. Roll-off business equated to $36,549 in billable accounts. They also pumped out 1,897,570 gallons of leachate to the city treatment plant for treatment. Phase 6 is on schedule. They are fighting the battle to de-water the bottom end, but are doing well. They have the leachate pumps ordered and will probably in the last 25% of their Phase 6 expansion. And lastly, I'll update you guys, Director Cooley and I are exploring some renewable natural gas options for the landfill. A lot of that information will go through the landfill committee out for recommendation. But either way, in 2 years, gas collection is going to represent a significant expense. We're just trying to figure out ways to mitigate that expense at the landfill. So I will entertain a motion to approve the landfill report for May.
Motion to approve as presented.
Yes, sir.
Second.
Got a motion, a second. Any additional questions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ahern?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am. Guys, also in your packet, you'll see the recycling center report from Director Randy Hand. We picked up 72,780 pounds of recycled materials in Mason County. 2 loads of cardboard were shipped in May to International Paper for 84,840 pounds, which also equals the total shipped in May. Total collected is $2,962.08. And the total customers at the recycling center remains about even at 89. And still, zero is the amount of recycled materials that has been hauled to the landfill. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the recycling report.
I'll make the motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
And we have a second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ahern?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frank?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am. That brings us up to our solid waste reports. Chris Carpenter is out on the route today. April's total tonnage, 382.93 tons. In May, we saw an increase to 422.35 tons. We've got 396 of the waste wheelers out and active, and 103 total dumpsters out and active. And so I'll entertain an option, or entertain a motion to approve solid waste report, please.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, a second. Any additional question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ahern?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frank?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, I've got to take that. Sorry, I was looking for something. Which brings up our property abatement and illegal dumping reports from Director Taylor. He's been out the month of May addressing the properties that we do have. The city reported a site to us off Oakwood Road up by the bridge that is a frequent flyer. And so we're addressing the site with defensive measures.
Where is this? By the bridge.
Oakwood Road out in the county. And so I know this is the second time we've had pretty significant dumped on, you know. And so not only, you know, and we're being fair about it, we're putting up signs that, hey, this site may or may not be monitored by video surveillance. And so we will give them a chance to use common sense.
Yeah.
We'll see. Also, that brings up, I want to talk to you guys first. First, let me get let me get a report. Yes, sir, please.
Make a motion to approve the solid waste report as presented.
Got a motion
Oh, we did that. Second.
and a second.
We're on property abatement.
Property abatement, I'm sorry, property abatement, yeah, sorry.
Second.
That's okay.
Roll call, Madam Clerk, please. Yes.
Commissioner Ahern?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frank?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am. Which also brings up our Minerva School. I'm going to share communication with the commissioners from some neighbors out in the area. If you'll remember, in early April, we had some tornado activity in Mesa County, one of which knocked over the school in Minerva, Brick School in Minerva. Since then, we've worked with County Attorney Essel, Director Taylor, and others to attempt communication with the owners to figure out what their plan is to clean it up, and have not received anything back. We have had some residents tell us that potentially they have passed away. Either way, I have proceeded with getting an estimate on what it would take to remediate the site.
the professionals, I talked to Steve Thomas and his team, recommended we not haul from the site to the landfill, or at least scoop it up. However, we could push the brick into the basement of the area and cover it with dirt. That estimate was gonna run right at $5,500. While we have $25,000 budgeted annually for property cleanup and abatement, I've also been working with Director Lease, Tony Lease, and the FEMA team about potentially getting some reimbursement from the federally qualified disaster that was early April here in Mason County. I want to be clear, though, even with that designation, it could be 3 years, 4 years before we see anything back from FEMA or the federal government. FEMA sometimes takes that long. And so my request to the board would be to green light proceeding with the remediation of the Minerva School, making it safe for the residents out there in Minerva.
And under our nuisance ordinance, once the site has been posted, I know there's mail there, but also provides for posting. And I understood the chain was gonna post it.
Yes, sir.
That we were gonna proceed. We can proceed, enter the property, secure it, clean it up, and then file a lien against the property for the cost. I can tell you that, I don't know what's there, and, Mr. Williams will know more about how much is there, what the value of it would be, but most of these nuisance properties, we don't enforce our lien because the property's not worth what the cost of foreclosing on it is. So, but we would file a lien in case it ever transferred hands, but we've budgeted $25,000 a year, and I understand there's claims back, but we've talked to Shane and really need to be using this option more. I understand it's out of county pocket to do it, but it's the one way we know a nuisance gets cleaned up, and for the safety and the value of the property around it, so.
But the method that you mentioned of pushing everything into the basement, that's gonna be a safe.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be safe for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. You know, you'll run into a higher magnitude of liabilities if you start loading brick and, you know, commercial residue into a dump truck and haul it, you know, across to the landfill. And with it having a basement, that was the recommendation of the contractor that we would do the job. And he also came back, which I kind of liked, he came back that he would get enough dirt, you know, to put on top, make sure that it's buried in, encapsulated.
I don't know if you remember, Commissioner O'Hearn, but we spent in the hundreds of thousands, didn't we, Kim, in a tire remediation. I think on tires and asbestos, if I'm not mistaken, all of which was reimbursed by the state. But we've done an asset cleanup on the property already, how many years ago? 8 years ago, 10 years ago?
18, yeah.
Did I hear you say neighbors have told you you think the owners have passed away?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we've sent 3 letters to everybody we can identify. We posted it out on the property. I feel like that's probably the case, but there's no affirmative way to say.
Right. Title hadn't changed.
Yeah.
And Your Honor, you asked me this question one time. Anthony, the sense of the Minerva School having some people being fond or remembering of it or some history of it, it's more of a nuisance. Everybody in the community considers it a nuisance spot.
Well, the school is a landmark, it's certainly dear to people's hearts, but no, it's been it's been a terrible situation for at least 20 years.
That's what,
Yeah.
I don't think that there's any backlash from
No,
for doing what needs to be done up there.
I can't speak for everyone, but I think that the vast majority of the citizens of Minerva would like to see it cleaned up, yes.
Yeah. I'd make the motion that we green light proceed with the plan as presented.
Yes, sir.
I'll second it.
Yes, ma'am. Got a motion? We have a second. Any additional questions, additions, or deletions? Roll call, Madam Clerk. Thank you both.
Commissioner Harden?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frank?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am.
And if we can do a final review with Shane, just to eyes on the notices and the
Yep.
dates before we
Agreed.
roll would be good.
So that brings up our garbage collection report and litter abatement report, guys. For the month of May, we had 2,852 charges. Amount payable $37,877.44. We received in 1,346 payments for total receipts of $36,847.42. For May, we didn't have any litter abatement grant activity, but we have spent $2,152.25 of the $21,500 grant that we have. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the garbage collections report.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Harden?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frank?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am. Also, our landfill team, solid waste director Taylor, myself, treasurer Muse, and Chris sat in on a presentation from a company called SoftPack. SoftPack has a software solution for garbage collections, for larger fleets of garbage collections. Right now, we work through Fiscal Soft, which is, the state's treasurer, accounting, customer software. But this SoftPack is specially made for garbage collections. Not only does it highlight the route that you're on, but also you get, you have to say as a driver or thrower, hey, I have picked up garbage at this location. Or if you come on a location and there's nothing out, 1 in 10 stops, 1 in 15 stops, there is an option to even take a picture with your cell phone, with an iPad, what have you. We're still talking with the folks at SoftPack, but I wanted to at least get this on your all's radar. I think this software will be a more efficient way of us tracking our garbage pickups that we're doing out in the county, as well as tracking who did not have the garbage out, what have you. Treasure Muse, anything to add to that?
It's just a really good billing system.
Billing system especially.
Yeah, Fiscal Soft has a billing system, but it's the least used, and it's pretty basic, which works fine, except that this system interacts with drivers and such, and so everything's instant. Once they pick up a person's garbage, it shows that it was picked up there in the office on the software. And billing's great. It automatically bills for late fees or anything that needs to be done, which right now we have not been able to get back since COVID. So it's a really good system. And I don't remember the exact price, but looking at 4 trucks, I think it was under 10,000 a year.
What do you,
it's like
what do you mean,
4,500
what do you mean you haven't been able to get back? What do you mean?
Oh,
said-
late fees
Uh-huh.
after COVID, when we took them off the system. They were not put back on for like 2 years, and when they were put back on, they were incorrect because of the years that we lost. There was no way for them to rewrite or figure out a way to get them back on. So we want to make sure that those that aren't paying are paying a late fee, because we have several.
Were you talking about the late fees for COVID or?
No,
No,
garbage
late
collection.
fees
No,
for
we won't go
garbage.
back through COVID and collect.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
just, once COVID was over and we
Right.
were 18 months afterwards and 2 years, we've not been able to do that since. So we want to make sure that moving forward we can. And that's not the only, just the billing system for the garbage. It specializes in that. So it's just very detailed and very easy to communicate between the drivers and the girls in the garbage collections office. They can go back and do pickups very easily through the electronic part of it.
One of the biggest things, it'll act as our conduit for online payments
Yes.
as well. Sorry, I think I left that
I
part
thought
out.
we would do that with this new system through the county, that everybody could go in and pay each department.
Online?
Yeah,
No, we will have online payments for garbage. This will actually expedite that and make it much easier. We are looking at making landfill payments online for that kind of stuff. But it's not, there's no way to do anything for road to pay or anything like that, but garbage and landfill especially.
The online payments are, that is a completely separate software. Actually, you can't have a software that does online payments and everything else. Online payments are completely separate from
Right.
anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So, on your all's radar, yeah, very well. We did, detention centers report. That brings us up to our treasurer's report. And Treasurer Kim Means.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like the court's authorization to pay claims as presented, including the additional claims totaling $932,625.02. And just a note, the additional claims are so high because we have our annual amount for all of our property, vehicle insurance, workers' comp insurance, and that's just the total amount, so that we can pay that portion monthly as they set it up for us. And then we have the landfill compactor principal and interest coming up. So those are just some of the big items. And we're also getting a litter fence from Burton Fencing for the landfill to come to code, and that's $120,000. So it's a little higher this time, but that's paid over time.
Does insurance premiums go up?
They did. I think it was right at a little less than 3%. Our health insurance this year was great. It went up 3%, but all in all, in the Keiko's pool, most of them got a 7 or 8% hike. Our claims were way down, and our wellness program is really working well for a lot of the small things that would add up, like going to the ER when you can. So that went down. Everything else, of course, went up, just like all property insurance and stuff with the storms. Vehicles weren't bad at all. They barely went up. So across the board and across Kentucky and across the nation, I think our rates are really good for this year. That's it.
Make a motion to approve additional claims as presented.
I'll second that.
Got a motion, second, any additional questions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Harden?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to have the court's approval of the financial statement as of May 31st, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any additional questions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Harden?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'd like to have the court's approval to make budget transfers totaling $298,734.48.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ahern,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's all I have.
Hey, thank you. Also, in the treasurer's report, I can't, I don't know if I highlighted this last month or not, but I'll highlight Lauren Valentine joining us. It's a good job she's doing, as well as fantastic job we're all doing, cross-training,
Yes.
on different activities.
Yes.
And so, thank you to everybody that pictures.
Which is
So commissioners, that brings up our EMS report. So for all of Mason County, we had 402 total runs in May. We had 85 of those were out in the county, 317 were in the city. I want to take an opportunity to salute Chief Carpenter for stepping up as our new chief. All of Mason County is, of course, polling for former Chief Doyle since his accident. And I'll commend Chief Carpenter for his efforts in supporting his wife Lauren and family, making darn near daily trips up to Lexington. We're very excited at some of more of the positive reports coming out of Lexington. And so, you know, that friendship like that should be applauded. And I'll also remind everyone at fiscal court of the heart donation program going on for Chief Doyle, raise funds for his medical stuff. And so I will take a motion to approve the EMS report. Oh, wait a minute, yeah, we don't need one, sorry, thank you, forgive me. Guys, that brings up a permit report, building codes, Jim Fawcett. You see a lot of commercial activity on the reports from Rec Room Shoes to Five Below. The 212 Market Street, our friends with D2S Engineering. The Welcome House folks with their Sutton's Landing project. Were in town yesterday with some federal HUD representatives, and so things are moving along. That is your permit report for the month of May. Which brings us to new business. So, Commissioners, in your packet, you will see ordinance 24-05, which is our amendment to the Mason County Administrative Code.
Ordinance number 2405, first reading by summary, is an ordinance amending the Mason County Administrative Code to comply with KRS 61.397 for required military leave, excluding Medicare participants from health insurance waiver, including other substances that impair with alcohol and controlled substances in prohibitions and other provisions of Chapter 500, changing the road specifications to increase the required bituminous surface to 1.5 inches, and requiring use of form for encroachment permits, and considering risk to public safety as basis for determining the surety under Section 750.2. Statute requires us to have an administrative code and suggests that you look at it in June each month. Sherry is very diligent and made me do that. So this ordinance picks up some things that Sherry had pointed out, Joe Brown has pointed out, and that the treasurer's office with regard to personnel matters. The statute changed, and we had 14 days for military leave, it is now 21 days, so we changed to comply with that. Also, if you're on Medicare, you don't get the waiver for declining health insurance. I added to our drug-free workplace and all our CDL drivers other substances that impair, just in reading this, and because George Larger had me working on another ordinance, being aware of medical cannabis, we will remain under this policy. Basically, drug-free means alcohol, controlled substances, and other substances that impair. So particularly for CDL drivers, will remain, regardless of what medical cannabis laws and what medical use your people may have, your CDL drivers will be zero tolerance for testing and whatnot on CDL drivers. So we've added other substances that impair to make that clear. We were in dealing with a particular road in a subdivision, which we discussed a lot the last year. Joe was requiring 1.5 inches of dense grade asphalt, which he says is the current standards, but our administrative code said 1.25, so we're bringing up to what road standards are. We've had some permits, and Sherry developed an application. We're not adopting that application in the ordinance, Sherry, but it says that there will be a form created and maintained. And in setting the amount of bond, we've considered this in permits, but the ordinance said only possible damage to the county road in the amount of setting bond. I think it also needs to include, we added this risk of harm to travel in public. So in addition to talking to Joe Brown, we could bring Sheriff Swolsky in and saying, you know, this event we're going to give a permit for, or this construction, talk to us about road safety and what may be required from that side. So not only damage to the road, which would be the Joe Brown, but Sheriff Swolsky and others could assist and make recommendations for safety in the permits. So these changes are brought to you by Sherry, Joe Brown, the Treasurer's Office, and me. But if anybody else is aware of any changes, suggest that we can add them before the second reading. So that is a reading of ordinance 2405, first reading by summary.
Well done. Well done, Miss Sherry.
Good job, Sherry.
Which brings us to our annual meeting of the Mason County Kentucky Public Properties Corporation.
I can go over some figures as of March 31st. Oh, sorry. I forgot.
You need a motion to leave the regular
Yep.
session meeting, convene a meeting of the Public Properties Corporation.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner O'Hearn?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil?
Yes, ma'am.
I think you typically call the roll for the,
Now I'll call the roll call for the Mason County Public Properties Corporation, which,
Director McKay, absent.
yes, ma'am.
Director O'Hearn?
Present.
Director Frame?
Present.
President McNeil?
Present.
I don't know if I can go yet. Am I ready?
Yep.
Okay. I've put in the packets, in the green on these liabilities section are everything for public properties. I've broken that down. I will have end of year and a quarterly for July. So I'll just go over these basic points for you. Our total net outstanding for elderly housing at this point is $101,560.37. That is phase 2. Phase 1 has been paid off. And AOC for the rebonding of the Justice Center. The total net outstanding on that is $81,147.56 for a total of $182,707.93. Phase 6 is not in green, but it is. The total outstanding on that. The total issue is 4.23, and the first payment is due this month, so none of that has changed yet. And then our checking account in public properties, because what happens with public properties, we use that so we don't have to budget for the entire amount every year on the large leases and bonds. So the checking account is to pay from each fund. So, for example, landfill phase 6 will pay public properties, and it will go through this checking account, and then we will pay it out of here to the lesser. And so right now, there's only $9,007.61 in there, but that will change as the payments come due. We have to forward them to the public properties checking, and then it goes out. But I will have an actual, well, it'll be the same report, but, okay, yeah. And that's it.
And I probably should have started the meeting with this, but for the public properties corporations exist because governments are prohibited from entering into long-term debt obligations. So whereas an individual could mortgage their home for a 30-year period, the government can only bind themselves for the current fiscal year. And so the public property corporation exists as a way for the county to enter long-term debt obligations for things like the Justice Center or long-term investment in landfill. And we need to have election of officers. Yes. And I think it'd be done as a slate. It'd be President Colin McNeil, the other officers would be Stephanie Schumacher as secretary, and Kim Hughes as treasurer, and the directors, Peggy Frame, Chris O'Hearn, and Joe McKay. So they would entertain motions to re-elect.
First, the directors, any questions on the intent or content of Mason County Public Property? Okay. Do I have a motion in, or any alternatives to the current proposed slate?
I'll make the motion.
Got a second?
Got a motion and a second. Any additional questions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Director O'Hearn,
Yes.
Director Frame,
Yes, ma'am.
President McNeil.
Yes, ma'am. So, now I need a motion to close out and come back into, I'll entertain a motion to close out the Mason County Public Properties.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Director O'Hearn,
Yes, ma'am.
Director Frame,
Yes, ma'am.
President McNeil.
Yes, ma'am. Now I'll entertain a motion to come out of closed session into fiscal court,
I'll make
please.
the motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Commissioner O'Hearn,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame,
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioners, and also, here's that 2 mods packet.
Yeah.
Get a chance, go through it. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Commissioners, also new business in your packet. You'll see a letter from our good friends at RSVP about their contribution. Also included is their budget for the year run. It's requesting $7,500 for the new fiscal year, which we wanted me to highlight, makes up 30 38% of their total budget. Treasurer views, it's my understanding that is the normal past contribution annual amount.
Yes.
$7,500. Do I have a thoughts?
I'll make the motion to do this.
Yes, ma'am.
A second.
Got a motion and a second. Any additions or questions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ahern,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame,
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I want to bring up, before we go into old business, I had a long conversation with Lloyd Schiltz, Conservation District, as well as their president, Anthony Wynn, and then also had a discussion with Janice Barnett. Conservation District brings in minimum of $1.8 to $2 million, grants, programs out in the county, makes pretty significant impact across Maysville and Mason County. They've been blessed to have the direction and leadership of Lloyd Schiltz now for many years. However, Lloyd is starting to think about retirement. And so we've had discussions about finding new leadership for Conservation District and what that would look like. Lloyd, in a sense, is a bit of a unicorn in that not only does he serve as the Director of Conservation, but also the Director of Hazelwood, several other entities where, you know, he kind of patches together a full-time position, however, doesn't need the benefits. We've had discussions about if the Conservation District wanted to hire in full-time, with it just being a federal agency, what would they do in order to provide benefits? We, Treasurer Muse and I have explored other best practices across the state, and there is the ability for the county to provide health benefits and put them on our health insurance plan. We currently contribute to Conservation District in the neighborhood of $60,000. I'm a firm believer that we see quite a healthy benefit in return from that investment. And so I would like to hear your thoughts on that. I believe we would, with your all's blessing, I think the mechanisms of it would be to increase that to $70,000 with the conservation reimbursement for $10,000 worth of health and benefits, health insurance, if needed. Thoughts?
So they would be a county employee, we put them on our benefits, which allows them to attract candidates.
Correct.
To find them. Seems like a no-brainer to me.
I don't know that technically they'd be a county employee, but there is a mechanism
Right.
out there.
But we can put
Yep.
them on our.
They are
benefits
considered an
even-
affiliate,
Yeah.
and because of that, we can do so.
We can do the benefits, even though they're not a county.
And they wouldn't be a county employee, correct?
It allows them to attract
And that's the only benefit they could receive that way, is health
this
insurance.
health insurance.
So how many people are we talking about?
One,
Just one?
a director. And there would be a portion of that premium that conservation would be responsible for, and whether they are able to do that or pass that on to a new employee. But they would be paying more than our employees do towards their premium.
So we're paying, you're saying it's gonna cost $10,000 for one employee?
Yes, our annual premium for a single plan is $12,479.64. So the monthly amount would be $1,039.97. And I think we discussed 10,000, and then the remaining 2,479.64 would be their responsibility too.
So you're saying that the premium for an employee is $1,000 for health insurance?
Yes, ma'am. We pay over $1 million in health insurance every year. The total premium is $1,039
Yeah.
on a single plan. I have a single plan. I pay $55 per month towards that plan. The fiscal court pays the rest. That's one of the best benefits that we have to offer, especially now that retirement is so different.
You know, I've reached out to Estill County. Well, I've reached out to Fleming County. Does it this way. You know, you can't do it for a whole bunch of agencies, but because they're federal, we would have a framework to do it. And also, inversely, if we lost our director agent here, you know, I think that $2.5 million impact they make annually would not be here, you know.
I'll make the motion that we would proceed with that plan.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Ahern,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame,
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am. Anything you all want to say? I don't want to put you on the spot, sorry, but,
All right,
you know.
Judge, I wish to thank the court for supporting us, and yes, I think that it will be a great benefit to the Conservation District to be able to attract an employee that will stay with us, and because it's a huge responsibility, and we don't want to train someone and 6 months down the road they're gone.
Agreed.
So we'd like to be able to offer this, and think it would be a great incentive. And thanks again to you and commissioners.
Thank you, my friends. Thank you. Commissioners, that brings up old business. We've got ordinance 24-04, and that is the tax amendment for medical cannabis. We've got Judge Rogers and County Attorney Estill.
It is, by summary, read for first reading, ordinance 2404. An ordinance amending the text of the land use ordinance to create a land chart for medical cannabis businesses. The ordinance specifically finds and states that, basically that you recognize that there's substantial, extensive licensing and regulatory oversight at the state, and we're not getting in the business of regulating medical cannabis facilities, but your land use chart is going to be, your land use ordinance will be amended to provide locations where medical cannabis businesses can be located. Cultivators will be permitted in the A2 zones and the industrial zones. Processors and process producers are permitted in the industrial zones only. Dispensaries are permitted in the B1 and all the business zones, and D1 and community zones. What is D1, George?
Downtown business.
Okay. And medical cannabis safety compliance facilities are permitted in the P1, which is the professional office zones and industrial zones only. And then medical cannabis uses are prohibited in all of the land classifications except as provided. Sherry and Clerk Schumacher, the chart I'm looking at is cut off. We need to make sure the one that goes in the books is not cut off.
Yeah.
And with that George Order.
Well, I'm here mostly just to answer questions. If y'all have any questions. It's a pretty simple proposal. It's just land use charts and some definitions. As John Estill mentioned, it's pretty heavily regulated at the state. For example, dispensaries are required to be open they can only be open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You know, that's how deep into the regulations that the state is getting. So we didn't see the planning commission didn't see a reason to really add anything.
The state prohibits already 1,000 feet from school and daycares. So some of that's already in the state ordinance or the state statute. And he mentions definitions, and these are George's definitions, which I adopted because he told me to.
And I wrote those with KAR. The odd thing about this legislation is the definitions that are in KRS 218B are pretty useless. They basically say a cultivator is an entity that's licensed as a cultivator in these other sections. It doesn't really talk about.
I argued with George, and George in this instance was right. So I want to make sure that I give you credit for being right in this instance.
Well done, George.
Next time I'm right, you obviously that's a public.
Okay, but I didn't really argue with you. You just went back and.
You were correct.
Dispensaries are permitted in community zone acreage.
Community zones being the unincorporated communities in the county that are mixed use that serve the surrounding property. So like downtown Maze Lake is generally speaking, the dispensaries are permitted where pharmacies are permitted because that's basically what they are.
Safety and compliance facilities, P1, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Those are testing facilities, and the reason why they're permitted in P1, that's professional office.
Yes, sir.
It's kind of like a lab setting.
Okay.
The reasons why the other, aside from dispensaries, the reason why the other medical cannabis businesses aren't permitted in commercial zones is that only dispensaries are allowed to be open to the public. They have very strict regulations about public access and access in general due to the nature of their businesses. P1 is professional offices. Offices are technically open to the public, but they're really only there for the office work that happens there. And when you think about lab work, that's usually done in an office setting too.
No action needed to be on the July agenda for second reading adoption. And if anybody finds it in or wants to suggest it and come in, we can take up amendments at that point.
Commissioners, any other questions for?
No questions.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
KAC and the P is.
So that brings us up to our county website update. We'll bring up Miss Allison, kind of run us through.
Before we get started, I have just a few little things that I want to put out there. One, this is a soft launch, so the website is by no means in perfect tip-top shape, and there will always be changes, but especially over the next probably month or so, we'll see a lot of big changes with that. And then if you have corrections or questions, please just see me afterwards so we can get all the way through it first. We are on an iPad today, so formatting in certain spaces may be a little off and weird. And then department heads, if you're here, make sure that you see me if you haven't already for your headshot, as well as elected officials. If somebody is not here, we'll have a couple times for them to stop by and do that this weekend, and not next week, but next week. So, those are my little, here you go. So here is just our homepage of the website. And I also do want to say that we will have new videos, new pictures. We're working on that again. It's a livable website, so it will always be changing. So this inside page showing places that, like, for play, for example, Cummins Nature Preserve, our rec park, JBS, all of the things that we offer for families here. We want the website to be someplace that people that are moving, let's say, to Maysville, that they can come and see what we have to offer. So we want our best work here. How can we help you? We just have some basic things that most people will come to the website to see, to fill out, to contact the commissioner, to contact you guys. You're welcome. And then bring your vehicle registration. So your overall top, your things that people are coming mostly to look for there. We have Judge McNeil here with his greetings.
Okay. I'm sorry. You need to stop.
Yes, that's next. That's next. I believe he has the same tie on today. So we'll maybe get the smile change, but that's about it.
I'm a man of my routine.
We have county news. Again, this will always be changing, hopefully. So we just have some things here that are currently going on. We have our senior housing renovation, which is a huge project that we've done recently with a really, really cool outcome. Our Primary Plus medical building is in the works right now. We want to highlight that so people know what's coming and what we have to offer. Garbage rates updates, we know that that's coming in the next couple months, so we'll have all the information on there for that, highlighting what the new rates are going to be. Another thing about our website, we want it to be transparent. We want people to come here and find correct information. And then we also have landfill phase 6. We'll have all of the information about that. That's a really cool project that we get to do. And so we want to highlight that. Upcoming events here, we have all of our fiscal court meetings so far on here, as well as the Cummins Nature Preserve schedule for 2024. There will, of course, be more events on this as we get going. Hopefully some more public events. If we have random events come up, random meetings, things like that, those will, of course, be featured here as well. And you can always see more events. Click on see more events, and there you can have a listing, see the full calendar for the year. And then down here, we just have the basic contact us information. And this is on all of the inside pages as well. Next, I'll show you one of our department pages again, just so you guys can see the vision for this. Hopefully the same that I can see the vision. This will eventually be an animal shelter focus picture of the animal shelter, and that will say animal shelter across there. Here we just have a little blurb about what our animal shelter does, the do's and the don'ts, as well as all of the office information here. So we have address, and then we also have telephone numbers, different ones if your office has them. If your office has a fax, it will also have that there as well. And then the hours of the animal shelter. Then as you can see over here, we have a contact us. All of our departments have this, and it's always the department head that is featured there, with the address, the phone number, and email if necessary. Here we just get to have a neat little feature that shows off some of the different animal shelter events. Again, as time goes on, this will be filled with current events and things coming up. So that's a really cool feature, just so people can see the inside of what's going on. Below, we have some quick links to all of the animal shelter links. Their Adopt a Pet and Pet Finder are both things that you can go to see what animals are available, and then of course the Amazon wish list, and then animal assistant form that is in hopes to keep their calls and all of that down correctly. And lastly, we have Meet Our Department. Again, this is what I'm talking about when I say some things are weird on the iPad. So we'll have Marilyn put a little blurb here about what their department does and so forth and so on. And then I'll show you one more department page, just so we can get a different feel. This is the road department. Again, road department picture, saying road department so you know where you have landed once you click on that. So again, we have a little blurb, and then this one is actually a little bit longer. We have Joe over here. Here's an example about his snow emergency levels. People often call about snow emergency levels, so it's good to just have that on the website so people can visit it. So we have all of that down through here. Again, we have office information, address, phone, fax, hours. And then the pictures just highlighting some of what the road department does. And then this link actually takes us just to a PDF showing what roads that we currently have, etc. And then once again, road supervisor program. I also want to highlight one thing that is going to change significantly, meaning information will be added, is our tax information. So far we have our occupational tax information. This is a big thing that we wanted to have readily available on the website because so many people go to our website to find this. And so the more information that we can provide them here, the better. We'll also highlight property taxes, car taxes, things like that, under tax information, just so everybody has that when they want it.
Allison, so like mine and like Ryan's offices, for example, like our websites have a lot of very specific information. So are you just basically putting a link to our website?
Yeah, so here's your Stephanie. So you have your little blurb, this from you specifically, and then down here you will also have your county clerk website. I think it's important eventually that
To click on that, okay.
Oh yeah, you can absolutely click on this.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And Ryan's is the same way. And then if you find that that's not working out, we can always.
No, that's perfect, that's,
We can always. release
no.
somebody, so, yeah.
thank you.
I noticed something was brought to my attention recently. This isn't necessarily, directed at you, but I don't think on the existing website there's any mention of planning and zoning or building, which I think that's important information.
We've worked on, yeah.
Have you taken care of that?
Yep, yes, sir. And I'll be in touch with you about that as well.
Cool.
So, if you guys can think of anything that you feel is necessary to add, please let me know afterwards. And then, yeah.
I want to commend Allison, commend our treasurer's team for keeping the ball rolling on this. The homepage, you can kind of see the aspirations about making it more video-based as opposed to still pictures. And then also, I think it's important to remember, this is going to be our home base, kind of our conduit to accept payments in for the landfill, accept payments in for garbage. And also a place citizens can go and get answers. It's going to be a useful page.
You gonna have an app for this, Allison? That'd
An
be
app
nice.
is, no, an app is a completely different thing that I don't see necessary at the moment. People are not gonna search for an app, they're gonna search for your website, so.
Allison, do directors have to send information to you and you put it on? Or do they have access to put stuff on? or-
No, they won't have access to put it on, that actually is not recommended,
Right.
to do so. So like Sherry will have access and then I'll have access, of course, Judge will have access. So whatever they feel necessary to go on.
Send it to you, you put it on, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want a page?
I have a, yes, I do. The last time we contracted this out, we gave all the information and went up on our page.
Yes.
The word department needs to be used department/offices or something,
Okay.
because Sheriff Swolsky is not a department, he's an office.
Yeah, sure.
Clerk is an office. And I'm just a stickler for those terms, but I'm not a department.
Anything else?
So we're just gonna type in Mason County, Kentucky, and the website will come up, is that how it's gonna work?
Yes, and I'll highlight on that really quick. So that will take a couple weeks, as always, the internet has to get used to your new domain, your new website. So it'll take a couple weeks, for that to be your first pop-up. But hopefully we can add something to the old website saying, here's our new website, visit it.
So is it up and running now that we can
It
access
should be at
it?
some point today, tomorrow,
Great.
something like that, but I'll make sure we get an email to you guys with the link as well.
And so now that this goes live today, we're gonna start process of stepping into activation of all these things we were working on. So the website, the
we'll wrap up our budgeting for 24, 25. Then the ClearGov guys, a lot of that information is gonna be on here for people to search. Along with the road inventory will be our interactive, infrastructure map we're working on. You know, and anything else, any of our partner agencies can think of too, let us know. But,
Yeah, and like I said, this is a very soft launch. You have to have one, so you're gonna fix things.
Are there court meetings gonna be on there, or will?
Yes.
Yes, so they'll be linked on here, and then of course your agendas and minutes and all of that will be as well.
Sounds like you've done a good job.
Thank you, guys.
Good job, Allison.
anything, anybody thinks of too, you know, don't be afraid to bring up. Or what.
It is, yeah.
It is. We did for the Minerva Gym. There are no board appointments for May. Last month, we our fire service, fire protection for the Justice Center contract is wrapped up.
Yes.
We have two options. The Siemens option. We've been with them since 2012. And we also have new bid from Alpha. It strikes me, Al from Sherry's review, wasn't it? From Sherry's review, Alpha would save us $800 a year. Looking to see what we want to do. We might be better served to wait till next month to bring it up. No board appointments. Communications for commissioners and the Dover Fish Fry, June 15th, 5 to 8. We've got our Juneteenth celebration is June 15th, 1 to 6 at Rotary Park. Our Buffalo Trace Stampede with the proceeds going to the Mason County Animal Shelter will be Saturday, June 15th at 9 a.m. The Germantown Fair yard sale, June 15th. I don't know anything about that. The third annual Maze Lick Antique Tractor Show will be this Saturday. Father's Day Tractor Show will be Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 or 2. It's a good opportunity to get Dad out there and see some antique tractors, and also for a good cause. We'll be raising money for a farmers or agrarian health fund. We all know somebody out in the community who could use a little help. Also, comprehensive event is Friday evening. Together We Thrive, their annual event and auction. We want to get that on commissioners. We want to welcome the Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development, Secretary Knoll, and their regional turf meeting. They have invited in some regional economic development partners for a meeting tomorrow over at the museum. Then also my good friend Philip Hay will be here for Danny Hay Memorial Golf Scramble at Laurel Oaks on Friday. And then DeShays will be celebrating almost 50 years in Maysville, Kentucky. Our good friend Nick Sanders invested in Maysville, Mason County 50 years ago. And that will be Tuesday the 18th at 4 p.m. And we'll do a ribbon cutting for Twisted Scissors down on 2nd Street. And Miss Starley Smoot, Friday the 21st at 10 a.m. Also, I can report that
Joe had communicated in that Patsy is out of surgery, seems to be doing well, and he greatly appreciates everyone's thoughts and prayers.
Good.
Any communications from commissioners?
No,
Okay.
you summed it up good.
Thank you. Covered it.
Been a long meeting, thank you guys. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second? Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hart,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Frame,
Yes, ma'am.
Judge McNeil.
Yes, ma'am.